The chat hurts. All right.
All right, chess time.
Yeah. Gonna be some quick draws in the candidates, but there won't be. Actually, there'll be some quick draws in the other tournament also, the Carlson one, because it's matches and they like to draw. So let's see. Radjabov plays Magnus tomorrow. So plays Aronian. Lequang Lim plays Naka. And then the other two people play each other. Mamajarov is one of them. I forgot who the eighth person is. Pretty good 7 out of 8 in the Magnus tournament. All right, let's start. We had decisive games today. Let's see, were they all decisive? This one was, that was not, that was, and that was. Oh, we had 3 decisive games today. So according to the internets, on the show I watched, the last time there were back-to-back rounds in the candidates with all decisive games, which almost happened. We had 4 decisive games, and now we have 3, but it didn't happen. The last time it happened was 1959 in rounds 1 and 2. That's what they said, but it's probably lies. But they're entertaining lies. And in the end, isn't that the real truth? The answer is no. 200 centimeters, give me Amin. Yeah. Etc. Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, so this is the game Alekseenko Ding Liren. We'll go by how important the games are. Alekseenko's on a losing streak, so let's see if he can continue. Ding always plays, e5 and knight c6 and so forth. Big money, no whammy stop. $9. Thanks, Robert. 9. Okay. And super GMs don't play knight g5, but knight g5 is fine. But they like to play d3. All right. So White played a very strange move in the opening. And if I had a student who played that, I would say it was shallow and pedantic. This is all normal. Yeah, B3. Recommended by Ginger GM. He said you got to be free. I don't know. I don't. What? Yeah, that move must make dollars. You know why?
Because it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Alex Fleck Chess is gifting a sub. Yeah. So yeah, B3 is a strange move. Always retreat. Rest of the moves aren't strange, they're just normal. All right. So White's playing very slowly, and somebody has to play D4, D5, otherwise nothing happens. And Ding's like, all right. Now, with the pawn on B3, there's always tricks with the knight taking the pawn and bishop D4 in an instance where White tries to take this pawn. And sometimes Black just gives the pawn away for compensation anyway, which is what happened. Obviously, the risk of playing D5, and the reason White played Rook E1, other than to play Knight F1, is to put pressure on this pawn. So he's trying to dissuade D5, but it didn't do it. Well, okay, this pawn's attacked now. So, play Queen C2. And, yeah, Queen F6, Knight G3. So it's pretty much equal. I guess I'd rather have Black because I don't understand why White moved all his pawns like that. Put it in H. Yeah, so this is just, standard, boring maneuvering chess. So Ding Liren is happy. And finally, White takes the pawn. He doesn't have to. And Black has great compensation for the pawn because this diagonal's not good, which Ding took advantage of. This pawn's weak, this pawn's weak, this pawn's weak. The rook is on the wrong square, and so forth. There's 2 good moves here for Black. There's Knight F4, which puts tremendous pressure on the D pawn. And then there's what he did, C6. C6 protects the knight, and more importantly, bishop C7 is annoying. White's pieces are lined up for a bishop. And then, I don't know, this is sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I guess it really loves to watch them roll. I mean, he just had to let it go. Yeah. Now, the engine wants to do that. Not a very GM-friendly move, giving up the bishop for the knight. And not only that, it says he has to do that. Doesn't like his position otherwise. Now, occasionally, in these positions, black can play knight takes c3. And if queen takes c3, bishop d4, which attacks everything on the diagonal. So, okay, Alekseenko said, all right, you can't do that anymore. Can't touch this. Took with the rook. And the GMs who were doing commentary live, who were not me, they thought white's trying to survive. Even though white's a pawn up, black has the two bishops, the better rook. Black can play h5, h4. Black can play bishop c7. The d pawn is weak and pinned. The f pawn is weak. The bishop on a3 can't move anywhere good. The engine says it's equal, but humans would want to have black here. This is very similar to the Marshall Gambit, but this is a good Marshall Gambit. So if you see the Marshall and the Ruy Lopez, this is a lot of compensation for black. You know, you can't move the knight. Bishops are good, so forth. Let's see, what happened? Gray Marmalade gave 5 subs. Spotted Frog gave 3 cents. And 771 viewers. All right. White played c4, which is...
explosive.
Mm-hmm. And he retreated like a Frenchman, recommended by MVL, bishop e6. Rook e1, getting his rook. And then he unpinned his bishop, so his bishop can move, and he puts pressure on the d pawn. Again, the engine says it's equal, but grandmasters want to have black here, because black has all the play. Knight e4, check, always retreat. Put it in h. Now, if I was playing a 1-minute game, I'd be pre-moving this all day, because, that's a scary move. Okay, so he played rook e3. He could also play knight g3, which is a weird move because he could mess up your pawn structure, but probably he would move his queen. Queen e5, threatening checkmate. He stopped checkmate, put him in check. King h2, queen f6. He checked him first, so now he's back in the pin. Attacks the queen. And now black wants to play h5, h4. And this pawn can't move because of the pin. And it's a backward pawn. So obvious compensation. King h1. Good, he should move his king out of the pin. More threats. Always repeats. And Alekseenko plays for the win, bishop c3. Or as I like to say, plays for the loss. Thirsty Monster is rating with a party of 60. Hooray, Thirsty Monster. Someone give him a shout. Oh, they already did. Man. That's good. Hooray. Why do grandmasters think they know more than stockfish? I don't understand the question. Why do you say that? Yeah, a lot of things on the internet which are wrong, which is most things, have a supposition that's nonsensical, and then they say, why is that? Because it's not? Yeah. Why did America elect a 95-year-old president? He's not 95. That's why. But that's the way questions are worded on the internet, and then you're like, why did that happen? Because it didn't. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, now why does Stockfish think it knows more than Grandmasters? That's a better question. Should get in its place.
What is your house?
Thinking about a sack. That's pretty good. Johnson and Johnson, Pfizer, Fries is winning. Yeah. That's pretty good. So not only is India killing it in cases, right, and deaths, and by killing it I mean their own people. They're lying about how many people have COVID. The head of WHO, said, there's a lot more in India than they're saying. And my question, and I'm serious, when the head of WHO said that, was it Pete Townsend or Roger Daltrey? I don't know. Who would you say is the head of WHO? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So they should have been more clear about it.
I think Daltrey thinks he was.
Daltrey thinks he is. All right. Fries wins.
But I don't know who it is.
25 schmeckles. Yeah. Pete is too busy with his research. Yeah. Frampton? What? Yeah. I mean, you already don't want to go to India, but now if you go to India, it's over. So I mean, every day they have more cases and more deaths. They don't have room in the hospitals, so people are like in their cars, laying down and getting medicine. So the U.S. and other countries are going to send 1 billion vaccines. That's only like half the people. So, yeah, we're going to send a lot of vaccines to India, and hopefully people can get vaccines. All right. B5. Now, this is a move that is a super GM move. I'm not even saying it's a good move. That's not even the point. Point is, most chess players, when they're doing something, continue to do it. It doesn't matter if it works. That's what they're doing. So, the bishop's doing this, and the bishop's doing this, and the queen's doing this, and the pawn could be doing this. So they don't even know there's another side of the board. They're like, that doesn't matter. Okay, but Ding Liren wants to annoy his opponent, so he plays here, and now Alekseenko's like, wait a minute, where are you attacking me? What's going on? And if they trade pawns, I said if, then, there's isolated pawn on d3. Otherwise, this could be attacked because of the pin, and b4 could be annoying. So Alekseenko's like, I stopped all this. What's all this? All right. So he played queen e2, escaping the pin. Okay, good. Takes. Now, you can also take it with the d pawn, but that allows the penetration. Queen b1 check. Rook d1, Papa John's. And just for your edification, you want some edification?
Sure.
Okay. If white plays random legal move, okay, that's pretty random, right? No. Checkmate. And then black's better. So he didn't want to let Ding infiltrate here. So he took with the b pawn. a4. And then black wanted to trade queens because he thought this rook was bad, this pawn is weak, this pawn is weak, and he can infiltrate here on the b file. The engine does not trade queens. It agrees with what Alekseenko did. Always repeats. Let's see. So it looks to me like queen e3 is a draw by reputation. Yeah. And Alekseenko plays for the win, unfortunately. a3. This pawn might queen. Then black will win. He says, I dare you to take it. I double dare you. And then Alekseenko said, do they speak English and what? What ain't no country I ever heard of. So he didn't take. He was afraid of the rook coming in because then it would be on fire. Oh, wait, that's the roof. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then, it's pretty good attack here. And the extra passed pawn here, that's not going to queen. That can't even move. The engine says it's equal, but I mean, if you're a human, you want to have white here because, black. I confused white and black. Yeah, I should talk to Mike Tyson. Man, that's a complicated joke. I think I'm the only person in the world who can get that joke. Yeah. Tyson might get it. Maybe. Might not. Been hit a lot in the head. Does anybody get that? Yeah, the Michael Jackson is the usual joke that I make. But it's more clever to make the joke about Mike Tyson. Robert E. 630 gifted a sub. Hooray. Let's see. Yeah, nobody's going to get that joke. So, there was a movie made. That's part of it, Robert. There was a movie made like 25 years ago, I'm guessing. And Mike Tyson was in it. He was one of the people in the movie. He played himself. And it was called like Black and White or White and Black. That was the name of the movie. I mean, that wasn't the name of the movie, but I can't think of the name. But it was like that. And one of my favorite scenes is there's a guy in the movie. It's a movie. It's not a documentary. But Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson. Everybody else is like an actor. And they say, hey, Mike Tyson. Okay. You know, like in the, what's it called? The series of funny movies. The one that's in Vegas and Asia and Mexico. What are those movies called? Hangover. Just like in The Hangover. Like, that's Mike Tyson, but everybody else is just an actor. So in the Black and White movie, some guy's really annoying Mike Tyson, because that's his lines. And Mike Tyson says, man, I can't talk to you. I'm on parole. So Mike Tyson wants to beat the hell out of the guy, but he's on parole. So, like, don't talk to me anymore. That was a funny line. Anyway, what was the name? It's called Black and White? Oh. So my joke was apt. Yeah. That was an interesting movie. I think I saw it at the Toronto Film Festival. That's why I remember. All right. So this didn't happen. He played Queen E1 defending his bishop. Also good. Rook D8. And he's really playing for the win, Alekseenko, but it's very risky because of the two bishops and the bad king and the etc. Finally, he puts it in H. And this is, again, the engine always says whatever it says. Equal, probably. Slightly better for white, because white's up 2 pawns. But that's assuming white defends better than perfect. And if white makes a slip, black's going to get in there, right? So I showed this position to Janet Jackson, and she says, "Oh, I'm not playing this position." Yeah, you know why, right?
Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
No.
She was afraid to make a nip slip. That's right. Remember that?
Her nip slip. Yeah.
In the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So it's funny, on one of the cartoons I watch, but I don't know which one, the guy, he wanted to watch the Super Bowl, but whoever the guy is, Family Guy or Homer, but he didn't watch it because his wife wanted to do something. And then they said there was a trouser malfunction with the guy who plays Niles Crane. And he's like, no, I didn't get to see that. So.
Hey, was it on purpose or not?
What?
The nip slip.
They still argue about it.
The great nip slip.
In my opinion, no. But some people's opinion is yes.
Yeah, I think it was an accident.
3 sensitives.
I did play chess before I met Ben. I was already a tournament player by then.
All right, 1,000 viewers. Hi, viewers. Okay, bishop f5. Knight d4 is a good move. He played it. Bishop e4. That's what Karen was going to play.
Are those
200
nuts?
sensitives.
Those are not nuts. Blueberries.
Are these nuts? What am I, Magnus? No. Yeah, they're blueberries. Now, bishop e4, that shows you who's playing for a win. Now, the engine says white's doing great, but the engine defends better than a human. So you have to take it. Take. Now, this knight's incredibly hanging. And you got to watch out for mate. If the knight moves, rook d1's annoying. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so the engine says the only way to get an advantage is rook d3. That's what he played. Bishop e5. And now the only way to get an advantage is bishop b2. And he played bishop c5, which loses immediately. And bishop c5 looks fine. You're defending your knight. Okay, but bishop b2 is good. And obviously, he overlooked black's next move. Now, it's weird to overlook black's next move because there is no other move. Like, this is defended, and you can't attack it anymore. And probably what Alekseenko was thinking, other than Arby's, is if you go here, this could happen. It could. Mm-hmm. Maybe not now, but maybe now. So I'll go here, then I'll stop that. And then, now, this is actually insulting in a very complicated way. And I discuss this a lot. The psychology of chess is, if this is winning for white, right, which Alekseenko probably thought, then what Ding did was insane. Knight e4 giving a piece away. You got to give Ding more credit because Ding has been top 5 in the world for years. So you can't just think Ding gave a piece away. Maybe he saw something. The only way for black to do anything in this position is rook b8 to b1, which is going to be checkmate. And it turns out that wins. The game's over. If the bishop's on b2, there is no rook b1. That block. So after rook b8, they asked Jackie Gleason to comment on the game. What did he say? Hamana, 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 hamana. Yeah. Okay, now the obvious move, because black's threatening that, the game's over, is rook d1. That's the obvious move. Rook b1 threatens the rook. If you take the rook, queen takes his mate. If you defend the rook like a normal way, well, there's no normal way. Let's say here, for example, right? Now, everything wins, but this is the cutest. That's an X-ray. There's only one thing cuter than queen e1 check. What is it?
I don't know.
You. So the only move to stop queen e1 and rook d1 is queen, well, that's what that's no good, is queen d2. And now we attack the queen, and the queen has nowhere to go. Do you feel bad for the queen?
No.
There's nowhere to go.
No, because it's happened to me a lot.
There's nowhere to go.
So I don't feel bad.
Yeah, if you go here, then we take, and here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Ding saw that when he sacked a piece, and Alekseenko saw it after rook b8. He's like, oh, okay. Now remember, trying is the first step to failure, and he tried. He played bishop b4, stopping the rook from coming in. And then he takes it. Bam, because the queen's overworked. You see what I'm saying? All right. All right, now, white's up a pawn, but the knight's attacked a few times. And these moves are checkmate and lead to checkmate. So white only has one move, knight f3, and then after check, knight g1. And after that, that's difficult to defend. Know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. And there's no perpetual check. So you're just losing. He tried and he failed miserably. The lesson is never try. And that's the end of the checks. The pawn can block, the king can move up. Here he resigned. If you don't want to resign, you can trade queens. And as Gregory Kaidanov would say, white is down a king. That's not good. So, you go here. And black's up a pawn anyway. So, a very nice piece sacrifice from Ding, and a very bad defense from Alekseenko playing bishop c5. I don't really blame him, but I blame him a little. Because if black doesn't do that, then he's got nothing. So he should have analyzed this and made sure that he was okay, because his king was always under fire. Now, what a lot of people were saying over the last few rounds is they were like, well, this guy can't beat that guy, and that guy's having a bad tournament. Incorrect. Anybody can beat anybody. And these guys are all 2750 to 2850. So you can't be like, whoa, 2760, he has no chance. No. So Ding Liren, whether he's having a good tournament or bad tournament, he can win with either color against anybody if he plays his A game. Mm-hmm. Then he's going to beat Magnus, which he's done.
Hey, Bishop takes.
Yeah. So
people are asking. I'm not bored. I was just waiting on him to stop talking so I could tell him that people are asking, can you explain an X-ray and also the difference between an X-ray and a skewer? Because they don't understand it.
Okay.
Multiple people.
Yeah. A skewer is when you see a pin and you switch the pieces that are pinned. This is a pin. If you switch them, the queens here and the knights here, that's a skewer. A skewer means the piece in front is worth as much or more than the piece in the back. And a skewer, the piece that's doing the skewering, is attacking a big piece, and behind the big piece is a smaller piece. Since this is a smaller piece than this is a pin. An X-ray is when you're defending through another piece. And I can show you more than one example of that. But, I mean, here we have a good example. I mean, here, wait, I'm going to have to go back. I went back too much. Yeah. So an X-ray is when this piece is defending this piece through this piece. It's pretty rare, actually. There's actually more than one kind of X-ray, but that's the simple one. And see, is that an X-ray? No. I thought in the England Gambit there was an X-ray, but that's not an X-ray. That's just a pin. Yeah. So, for example, in this position, which I'm sure you've had in your own games, that's a pin. The queen's pinned to the king, and white wins. Okay. If we switch the king and queen, which I can easily do, always play bishop f1. That is a skewer. That's more important than that. When the pieces are of equivalent value, like two rooks, I talk to my homies in Bruges, and they like to call that a skewer. Okay. And then if the king was here, which is illegal, but, you know, kids' tournament, that's a fork. Because the bishop can legally attack both pieces. Here it's only attacking one. And then when it moves, it's going to take that one. So that's a skewer. X-rays are hard for humans to understand, so they're usually surprising. When your piece is defending a piece through another piece, and people are like, what? What does that mean? So, yeah. I mean, imagine the B file has nothing on it, and you have a queen here, and he has a queen here. Like, rook B8 would defend your queen through his queen. So that's an X-ray. X-rays that are attacking are more fun. That was a defensive X-ray. Also, the queen's defending the rook. It's a double X-ray. You know those X-rays that are like double X-rays?
No.
Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so forth. I have no idea what an X-ray is. It can't be simpler. It's when two pieces defend each other through another piece. That's why it's an X-ray. I mean, I already said what it was. I'll give you another example, but I can't. I mean, nothing is easier. Okay. And by the way, it's impossible, just so you know. Okay. Okay. This position, queen f5 is the stupidest move ever. But if it was white's turn to move, which it's not, but if it was, you could take this or you could take this. And even though they're not defending each other now, they are, because it's an X-ray. this defends the bishop through this. And this defends the queen through this. That's a defensive X-ray. These pieces defend each other through the opponent's piece. So if white takes either piece, it's defended. But through the piece that's already there, which would take one of them. And then an attacking X-ray is when your piece is defending a piece through another piece. So for example, if you played queen g1 check, and there was a king on h1, and the only legal move was rook takes queen, sounds good, but there's doubled rooks here, the rooks are defending the queen through the rook. Rook takes mate. They can't legally defend each other because there's a piece in the middle, but when the piece takes either piece, then they're defending each other. It's actually has almost no importance, the names of things. Almost none.
I don't agree.
Almost none.
No, I can remember it better if I have a name for it.
Yeah, but you could call it Mr. Snuffleupagus.
I know, but I'm just saying you got to know.
Then you would say, "Who's Mr. Snuffleupagus?" And I'm like, "Didn't you watch Sesame Street?" And then she's like, "No." Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see what happens when Kiri has a little beer in her? She's like, "No, you're wrong." Yeah, harsh. Oh. Yeah. That's right. That sounds like a battery.
Names do matter.
No, it's not a battery. It has nothing to do with a battery. You're banned. A battery, the opponent's pieces aren't involved. In an X-ray, there's always your piece and an opponent's piece that are involved. They got to be in the situation. In a battery, your opponent's piece is never involved. So if your bishop was here and your queen was here, your queen and bishop are a battery. The white pieces don't matter. In the other one, there's a white piece between the two black pieces, right? Or as we call it,
Oreo.
An Oreo. Yeah, come on.
That was very.
Now that it's an Oreo, Karen can remember it.
See?
So that, yeah.
See?
There we go.
Names are important.
Now, let me explain. Hey, there's C.L. Smith.
Hey, C.L.
Yesterday,
Smith.
somebody was like, where'd C.L. Smith go? There he is. Somebody on my stream yesterday was worried about your health. They're like, where's C.L. Smith? All right. So let me explain a Z-ray. First, I'll give Karen a chance.
I thought he made that up.
No. A Z-ray is better than an X-ray. You know why? It's two better. Z is two better than X.
I don't know.
For $1 trillion, what TV show are we referencing?
Z-ray?
Yeah.
Rick and Morty?
Wait, Z-ray vision? What's that? Is good. Is two better than X. Okay. Futurama.
Oh.
Yeah. He sees some surgeons on the street, and then they have Z-ray vision. And he's like, what's that? All right. Tisker Tasker gifted a sub.
Hey, C.L. Smith, when are you going to come visit? Now that we're open, now come on. We want some over-the-board chess from you and karaoke.
Remember Gabe
get over
Kerr?
here.
He used to play you in Atlanta. You're just making that up. A windmill? What?
It is a nice shirt.
Yes, en passant's an X-ray skewer, especially when you spell en passant that way.
Well, we're going to start with a weekend tournament soon. C.L. Smith. Saturday tournament, mid-May. 2-day tournament, third weekend of May.
The Novotny theme is excellent, and it's almost always just used in problems. Yeah, I like the Novotny theme. That I like. But I won't discuss it here because it only happens in chess problems.
Yeah, Pam too. Pam said she was going to come visit.
I want to show you the Novotny theme because I like it so much.
All right, let's see it.
All right. Now, I can't make up a problem like that because it's... But I'll tell you what it is.
All right.
Okay. So let's say... let me get rid of the D pawn. Okay. I don't know why the knight's on C3. That was stupid. All right. And I'm going to play G3. Okay. All right. Now let's say in this position, but not in this position. I'm showing you the theme. White has to be able to go here. He has to. because that's the position. Not this position, just some other position. And white has to go here. And you're like, well, he can go both places. What's the problem? Right? Then this is the Novotny theme. Because if the bishop takes, the queen can't go here. And if the queen takes, the bishop can't go here. So it's when you put a piece on a square that's attacked by two pieces, but the two pieces need to go past that square, so whichever piece you take with blocks the other piece. That's great. In fact, this would be much better if this was a rook, because then after knight d5 rook takes, the bishop can't move at all. After bishop takes, the rook can't move at all. So those are only in problems. We almost never see that in a real game. But I really like that theme, because you don't expect a move that hangs a piece to two different pieces. And what you're doing is you're just blocking both of them, and whichever one white takes with, the other one is as impotent as a Nevada boxing commissioner, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of problems like that. In the problem world, that's considered really cool. I can't even set up a problem like on the top of my head. I have to figure out a position where it's very important that both, it's hard to do. But yeah, it's great.